G'day there guys, Marky here. A mutual friend propositioned my newlywed wife for sex and an affair. What's the best way to respond? So my wife is a bombshell 10 out of 10, but more than that, she's an amazing woman, compassionate, funny, caring, loyal, and badass. And some of her friendly qualities are often mistaken as flirting or expressing interest. So with a heavy heart, she is now much more guarded when conversing with strangers. With old friends, she is her usual friendly self as they know her. But alas, now one incident has caused her to pull back from interacting freely with friends too. So we just got married last week, and on Sunday night, we hosted a small dinner for a few of our close friends. Now, one of those close friends has had a crush on my wife for a while now. Nothing serious, but she knew and told me immediately, and then cut all unnecessary communication with him. That sucked for her, because his wife is a good friend of my wife, and because of his obvious crush, they couldn't meet as often. We thought that he would get over it, but on Sunday night, he cornered my wife for 5 minutes and delivered his love speech about how he had to have her, and now he couldn't sleep knowing that she's married to me, how true love knows no bounds or rules, love can't be constrained, and it should be free, and so on and so forth. She immediately came and told me, but we didn't make a scene, as there were other friends there too. Now she is royally pissed and wants to expose him to all our friend group, as he might have done the same thing to others too, or he might in the future. I'm of the opinion that we should cut contact with him, but don't do anything more than that. What's the best way forward? Personally, I'm torn between exposing him publicly to everyone or just telling his wife and letting her kind of deal with this situation, obviously with your advice and your help. Kind of just depends on how much you value your relationship with this person and how you think everyone will react to this news. Though me personally, I would name and shame him publicly. I don't think it's acceptable to let that behavior pass, and I think you need to be publicly shamed for that because that's disgusting. If it leads to him being outcast in this friend group, then so be it. That shouldn't be something that's accepted or swept under the rug. So that's my advice. And now in the comments, dude, you obviously tell his wife and then follow her lead with this. As if you just want to sweep this under the rug. Like damn, at least be a good person and look out for the wife of this scumbag. Who would want to be married to that with some of your friends knowing what kind of person he is? Come on. Also, make sure she is never alone with this creep, and she's aware that she should be careful around him. It sounds like he's obsessed and might have even deluded himself into thinking that your wife loves him too. Right? This bloke is so clearly off his rocker to have been saying those things that he was spouting. These are not friends, man. I don't understand how people keep weirdos like that around. Some people live for the drama. I would 100% in your wife's shoes tell his wife who is her friend because that's obsessive, creepy, and disgusting. It's not cool to just let the other wife be married to this man. Yes, hiding this from her is just gross. She deserves to know exactly who she's married to, a sleazy little creep man. That guy sounds delusional and pretty creepy for cornering your wife during a wedding celebration too. What the hell? Let his wife know about this and cut off contact and never ever invite this guy ever again to anywhere. Also, maybe it's a good idea for your wife to carry a taser or something when she's out. Put cameras around the house if these people know where you live. Block the guy on every social media platform, and don't accept friend requests from anyone. Something about the creepiness of it reminded me of a similar crime story in my town. This guy, married and a young father, was in love with this woman, I think newly married. They are neighbors and lived in the same apartment complex. One day, he decided to kidnap her when she was about to leave for work. He assaulted her, then killed her, then dumped her body. He was caught eventually, and there were videos from CCTV, etc., proving that he was the one who took her on the day that she had gone missing. He ended up admitting everything, and I remember how in the first 48 hours of her disappearance, how people online were already blaming the husband. Sorry for the true crime story, but if this guy is unhinged and crazy enough for your wife, yeah, you guys probably want to be careful. And now, on to the update. So I got a lot of good advice, and some well-deserved criticism about my behavior too. It was indeed not right for me to take it as lightly as I appeared to do, Believe me, I wanted to fight him, but it would not have solved any issue, only created more. But one thing the majority of commenters got right was that I should have fully supported her desire to go nuclear on him, and I appreciate the honesty from you guys. So anyways, I went and told her that I'm sorry I was not more supportive, and I'm now 100% behind her, even if it means I have to kick his ass. She laughed and said she has devised a plan of action. She was going to talk to his wife first, and then inform all the women in our friend group, as she thought that it would be irresponsible for her to ignore his behavior in case he tries, or already tried, with anyone else. So she called his wife for lunch today, and she told him. His wife was heartbroken, and I stepped away to give her some freedom to vent. I went out and came back when my wife messaged me that she had gone. She told me that his wife confessed that it had happened once before too, when they lived somewhere else. Apparently she seemed almost resigned to the fact because she wasn't angry. Rather, she was sad, and when my wife told her that she will be telling other women of his behaviors, she didn't protest. My wife has called everyone for lunch on Saturday, and that's when she will tell them. She even feels bad about the wife, but feels it's kind of a moral responsibility to warn everyone. I am in complete agreement here. That's the update. And I'm gonna go treat my wife to some homemade pizza tonight, since she is so awesome. Yeah, I can make pizza, lol. Thanks for the suggestion, guys. And now in the comments, backing your wife is the right move, and your wife handled it like a champ, telling his wife in private, and even letting her know that she's going to tell other women in the group. Good update. It sounds like your wife is a 10 on the outside, and at least a 12 on the inside. I'm so glad you took the advice to support her 100% and hope you will continue to do so. Best of luck. Well damn, glad to see that both of them had good communication and had each other's back. Couples that post on Reddit like that are not common. I'm glad they're also warning other women in their social circle. It annoys me when people pretend like it's somehow not their business to tell. It's a shitty remnant of older times, and I can't wait until we turf it all over. Don't rock the boat always ends in the pain and suffering of vulnerable people who don't have the strength or energy available to stand up for themselves. It reminds me of my poor spouse. A young lady at his work confessed her feelings for him. He short-circuited and quickly excused himself, and then he called me on break in a panic. What do I do with this? After a good laugh, I coached him on how to gently but respectfully turn her down and explain my existence, in addition to noting that she was far too young for him and that it would be professionally inappropriate. Thankfully, she was not a friggin' sociopath and was hurt, but understood. She's very young and a touch naive too, so I'm actually glad out of all the guys in his office, she crushed on my husband instead of an opportunistic asshole. Our next post is titled, "Should I tell my dying husband I'm pregnant?" Hey, this is really shitty, but I'm 39 female and a mother of 2 teens, and married to a 40 male guy that I'll call Steve. Sorry if this is all a mess, it's a bit of a messed up story. The marriage was basically one of convenience. Steve and I are both divorced and have been friends for decades. This past spring, Steve found out he has a rare cancer, and the doctors gave him maybe 6-ish months to live. 3 years ago, Steve sought out the daughter that he had before his marriage from a one-night stand in his 20s. When he found her, he discovered his daughter, 10 years old, I'll call her Sarah, was being horrifically abused by her mother, who had had some kind of mental break, I guess. Anyway, he spent a year fighting for custody of this child that he hadn't seen since she was a baby, and he eventually got it. Then spent 2-ish years working with her and getting her to heal and trust him, and surprise, he's effing dying. Anyway, the marriage thing was mostly about Sarah. We were advised that getting married would be the quickest and easiest way to make sure that I get custody of Sarah when Steve passes, in case Sarah's mother decides to try for custody again. As a side note, I 100% do want custody of Sarah, no question. I love her very, very much. She's already like a sister to my 2 kids, and similar in age. That girl has gone from not owning a frickin' pair of shoes to being a funny, smart, all-around great kid. Anyway, we got married on paper, no wedding, and Steve and Sarah moved into my house. All the kids knew what was happening and were surprisingly cool with it. Yeah, so stuff happened between me and Steve. He confessed that he had been in love with me for a long time, and I just kind of said it all back to him, even though I'm not 100% sure of my feelings. It all just happened so fast, I don't know. Maybe that was wrong of me, but I wanted his time left to be happy, and I do care for him a lot. In the last few weeks, Steve has gone downhill very quickly. He's still mostly at home, except for a few short hospital stays. There are nurses that come every day, and he's on strong pain medicine, so sometimes he's himself, but a lot of times he is really out of it. He basically is just here dying right in front of my effing eyes, and it sucks. And I just found out this week that I'm pregnant. I'm not sure that I want to keep the baby. I'm old as dirt, with now 3 teenage kids to think of. I'm strongly considering not telling Steve at all, but it feels very wrong. Telling him also feels wrong. He's more upset about leaving Sarah than he is about dying, so finding out he's leaving another kid behind will probably only hurt him. Having an abortion feels wrong. Keeping the kids feels wrong. Nothing about this is okay, and I really just want a cigarette and a bottle of wine. And now in the comments, decide if you're keeping it first. If not, say nothing. If you do, well, if it were me, I would want to know. Gives him a chance to maybe record a sweet video or buy the kid a present or something. Something that kid will always have from their dad they never met, you know? And OP replies, "Gah, I can't stop thinking about this. I got to wondering how to make Steve look good, aka not like crap in the video, and now he's wondering why I put a hat on him while he's trying to watch TV. Thank goodness I have a long history of being a complete weirdo. If you decide to tell him, I'm sure he'll agree to let you clean him up some." And OP says, "I'm sure he will. I was just trying to imagine it in my head. It's less depressing than some of the other stuff I've been imagining lately. Gods, yes, be angry. I used to get so frustrated when I was told that I would figure it out. All I can think to say, and it's likely already said, is that having a baby under these circumstances can help bring the other 3 even closer to you, to each other, and to the baby. Maybe your baby is a beautiful, living reminder of your husband and the family that you built together, out of caring, if not romantic love. Also, you have teenagers to help you with the baby. There are so many ways helping with the baby will help them grow into loving, generous, compassionate adults." And OP replies, "I'm about to word vomit on you. I'm so sorry. Last night when I posted, I was just sad and scared, and so many people reframed everything in this romantic way, and I kinda got swept up in it and went to bed thinking that I would choose to keep the baby and everything would be amazing and beautiful and blah blah blah. Then I woke up this morning and was just kind of slap happy and in a daze. Then I find out I'm way further along than I thought, and the reality of it just completely knocked the wind out of my sails. I'm mad that I never really had a choice, and I'm mad that people think it's so romantic to have a dying man's baby inside of me, and I'm mad that I came home ready to talk to Steve and I can't because Sarah is skipping school again, and I get that she wants to spend time with her dad, but I made a frickin' deal with her that if she finishes this week, she can take the next week off, and even worked it out with her teacher, FFS, and they've started watching Stranger Things Season 3, and I just want to scream at Steve. Why are you watching a new show when you don't even know if you'll live to finish a sandwich? And of course I can't yell that because you can't yell at dying people and tell them that they're dying, nor can you yell at them to just freaking stop dying, which is what I really want to do. And he's all doped up and going on about how he's Hopper and Sarah is 11, and no you're freaking not. You've sat at a desk and got fat the last 10 years, and you've never punched anyone in your life. And you goddamn well did not get that girl by leaving Eggos in the woods. You were in court for a goddamn year. I was there, and it was hell, you asshole. I'm tired of everyone glossing over the shitty truth of everything in life is like 90% just annoying maintenance of shitty, gross meat sack bodies and paperwork, and you get maybe 10% of real, actual stuff that matters. And when that stuff happens, you're not even ready for it, good or bad, because you're tired and worried about bills, and you're only paying half attention. And then later you're like, oh, that was the most romantic night of my life because you chose to remember it that way. When really at the time you were just thinking about how you wanted to take your itchy pantyhose off and wondering if you fed the cats. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy groceries mad right now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Someone replies to that, hey, do you think maybe you could write a book in your spare time? 10 out of 10 would read. This is one of the best pieces of wisdom I've read in a while, and if you can be wise, even in the middle of an anonymous internet rant, while pregnant and pissed off at kids and dying people, I stan you. I'm a huge fan of filthy beauty, and you get it, and that's why your life, like it or not, will be filled with it. Your life is blood and guts and love and dirt and tears and more love and laughter, and I'm just gonna call this down on you in hopes that it manifests. Sleep. I bet in the end you won't want to trade it for anything, so go ahead and be pissed, sad, hopeful, and just roll with it because you rock. And OP says, you're my favorite. There's also another comment from OP further on. There's not enough room on the entirety of Reddit to explain me and Steve's relationship, but I'll give it a try, if only to sort it out for myself. We were friends, I got married young, which was a big mistake. By the time I got divorced, he was married. After he got divorced, I was dealing with major health issues with my youngest, and then Sarah became his focus. Somewhere in that mess, we worked full-time jobs, buried 3 parents between us, made and received late-night drunk calls to and from our exes. Well, sometimes the calls from my ex were from a jail cell, but it was always about time. There was just never time. This past year, being single parents together, we were a great team. Steve taught my oldest how to drive. Steve called me at work when his daughter got her period. God, that was funny. We had each other's backs. I was starting to fall for him. It seemed like it was inevitable. It seemed right. It seemed like we finally had time. But we didn't. And then everything just got rushed and pushed together and compressed, like someone was pushing fast forward in our lives, or the writers were rushing the ending to go to work on Star Wars. So yeah, I love Steve, but the last few months have felt weird and artificial. I'm grieving for the relationship we could have had, or the one that we were supposed to have had, damn it, more than the one we do. Anyway, go hug your loved ones, or whatever the moral is here. Wrote more than I meant, and I'm freaking crying again. Gross, lol. And now on to the update. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to keep the baby and tell Steve, but I want to sleep on it first. Also, Steve is definitely out for the night. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna go do the dishes, feed the cat, and go to bed. We'll continue to read and respond to comments when I can, and hopefully update at some point before the weekend. Update 2, saw the OBGYN this morning way too early. Seriously, why are you even open at 8 AM? And here's the twist. I'm not a month pregnant, I'm like 3+ months pregnant. No, I'm not relieved. I'm pissed off that I had another choice taken away from me. I'm sick of my life feeling like a speeding train that I have no control over. I'm sick of everyone romanticizing everything. I'm tired of everyone saying I'm strong when I feel like I'm just doing the bare minimum to keep my head above water. I'm just gonna go be angry for a little while. So, actual conversation I had with my OBGYN less than 30 minutes ago. I said, is the old IUD in there dangerous to the baby? Doctor said, I took that out 5 years ago when it expired. OP says, I have no memory of that. Are you sure it was me? You said you didn't want another because all men are trash, and you were planning on running away and joining a lesbian commune. Yeah, that sounds like me. In my defense, 5 years ago was when my younger child was having a tumor removed from his spine and his father showed up at the hospital with a 20-year-old girlfriend. So yeah, I may have blocked a few things out from around that time in my life. Update 3, found out I'm like 15 weeks pregnant, not 4. Baby is a girl, she will be loved and a welcome part of our family. I will tell Steve. Feel free to keep commenting as I enjoy commenting back, but the decision has been made. Thanks everyone. And I've gotten like 5 messages that you can't tell the sex of the baby that early, and y'all can go take it up with the tech who seemed pretty effing sure of herself. In the comments, Angel Master says, decide if you're keeping it. If you are, tell him. He can make videos and cards and do whatever that you can give your child as they grow up. It would be awesome to know that even if my dad dies before I was born, he had so much love for me that he made these things for me. And OP replies, yes, I'm keeping it. Her. Of course I am. I'll tell him. We'll make videos and crap. Did anyone else see that episode of Queer Eye where the mum had to write cards for her twin sons for every birthday before she died? And she couldn't finish them because it was too sad to think of all the things that she was going to miss? Yeah, now I'm sad again. And they reply to that, yes, this is also a storyline on the Big C. It'll be sad for both of you, but push through. Your child will have a relationship with their father through these cards, videos, and whatever you decide to do. Otherwise, all they will have are pictures and your memories of him. If they get actual things from their father, they will feel like they're growing up with him in some way. So, did you tell him? And OP replies, indeed I did. How did it go? Was he happy? So I cuddled up to him and showed him the ultrasound picture and said this is our girl, or something like that. He was quiet for a minute and then said, she'll have a sister. Which is not what I expected, but I agreed that yes, his daughter will have a sister. Then he asked if I was going to be okay, and I said yeah, I'll be okay. And we laid there for quite a long time, and that was about it. He's been quiet today, but sometimes he's like that. I need to tell the kids and ask him about making a video or letters and cards, but I want to give him some thinking space first. So I can't really answer about his emotional state yet. This is all I know so far. Tomorrow is my last day of work before I take FMLA, so there should be more time to talk in the coming days and weeks. And now to the final update. I'm not sure if anyone will ever check this post again, but for anyone who finds it in the future, Steve passed away a few days ago. We're all okay. Things are okay. I'm doing fine. Paperwork is a cow, and I'm caught up on laundry. Everyone who read my comment that Steve and Sarah were watching Stranger Things Season 3 and didn't warn me about the ending can die in a Reddit fire. It was traumatic. What a world. And now in the comments, damn, I want to know about baby sister and how everyone's doing, especially Sarah. Poor OP. And this is all a few months before COVID too. She would have given birth within the first few months of the lockdowns. Pretty much all on her own from the sounds of it. That's really rough. The older teen boy may have been there to try and help how he could. Not in the delivery room for many obvious reasons, but if Steve had been teaching him to drive the previous years, then I would bet he was in his late teens to early 20s and able to help out where he could. OP shows a lot of strength, and I admire her telling Reddit to F off with romanticizing the situation. And that's really all we do, one way or another. The people who share their lives are venting and seeking advice, and we're getting a drama fix. It was good to get hit with a reminder that this crap isn't a movie, it's real life. That baby will be a loved member of the family and a memory of her father, but she's not some sort of beautiful parting gift. OP will have a lot more difficulties to face, but I hope and believe she'll be facing them with a lot of support and love. I absolutely loved her writing. Me too. I identify with her sense of humor. I like that she could admit that she is calling Steve an asshole in her head while lovingly caring for him. She sounds like an incredible woman who's seen some crap and lived to tell a well-written story. I've seen some crap too, but not this much. It does take some therapy to be able to live again. I hope she got it. She's kind of a badass. She showed how it's okay to be really mad at someone who's dying and still show them love. She's going to be even madder after he dies, and that's okay. People forget that it's okay to be mad. And that's where I'm going to end this one today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.